question from somebody in our community is, past events consume my thoughts and keep me from moving forward. Any tips for living in the present?
I was thinking about this over the weekend. There was a leadership leader who was bigger game, who worked with Laura Whitworth, Rick Tamlin, and Rick came and did a weekend with us, and he said something that stuck with me. Where he said, in the past, I had something, these things in the past, which he characterized very negatively. But he said, now I have rewritten that story, and he said those things no longer have the same impact, or the same use the word hook in the present moment. And he said, my story has changed my personal history, and it really stuck with me. Like the idea of change, like just those things are now changed. I have purposely changed them in the story that I've told. And I think this mimics what happens in a coaching session, where sometimes when you're in a coaching session, your coach will ask a question, and the question will go counter to what normal thought pattern you might have. Like, for instance, let's say a coach might say, well, what's the usefulness of that pain? Or that might go more, curiosity to a negative perspective. It could also go into this idea of, okay, so let's imagine for 3 minutes that you have lived a life where not a single negative thing has happened to you. And you create this like alternate reality perspective, like this perspective that there's no way that it would ever exist in real life. But with the help of a coach, you're going to this space. It's almost like you're going to some sort of inner mental emotional gym, where you're going to pick up this weight and you're just going to try it out. You would never do curls in real life. Like, no one brushes their teeth like that, or like fits food in their mouth like as quickly as possible. But if you want to build your arms up, you got to do your things, right? So it's a similar kind of thing where you it's almost like in a coaching session, you can take a mental emotional exercise like that, and curiosity. And this is what makes, I think, being a coach such a deep, fulfilling profession, because you know with confidence how to lead someone to that space to do that inner work themselves, while still getting out of the way, while not trying to it's like help through empowerment, not help through expertise, if that makes sense. And so that's what I'd recommend. I would recommend exploring it in a coaching session, from the perspective of not trying to solve it, like not trying to get away from it, not trying to change it so much, but with the idea that perspectives can change a lot, and it's here for a reason. Let's generate as much learning from this as possible before like moving on or taking the next steps. That's what I would say to that.
So I'm thinking about this and which tools helped me when I was training to be a coach as well. And there's a few tools that I was thinking coming up for me. I know in the 2.0 we even look at kind of habits and daily routines. But I remember in the executive program as well, we looked at rituals. And I was thinking about how rituals help me to stay grounded and stay in the present moment. Are there any particular tools that you would use to help somebody kind of stay more present?
Yeah, I have lots of I don't know, mental emotional space clearing exercises where that range from a pull-up bar just right over there to staring out the window to journaling. I mean, there are lots of different tools. I feel like anything that gets people moving physically, and then also people need to find whatever tool they have. How about for you, Raj? I know you have a lot, and we've even talked about these.
Yeah, I mean, for me, practicing just mindfulness changed my life. And I was, even last night, I was being pulled in all kinds of directions, and I was doing my journaling, and I decided I was going to listen to Thich Nhat Hanh, peace activist and Buddhist monk who passed away recently. But I mean, he talks so beautifully about being present and being right here in this moment. And I've done a lot of work on myself over the last few years of just catching myself. He was talking about doing nothing and just sitting with that. And I think, how busy we all are, and, we're all trying to work on achieving something and trying to move to the next place. And I tend to catch myself. I go and sit outside without my phone and without gadgets and just stare. We've got bamboo plants at the back. They're beautiful. And, I'll put a waterfall on and just attempt to not control thoughts. I meditate every morning. I have my rituals and practices. And do they always work? No, because it's ongoing practice, isn't it? But I think it's, how do we get into the habit of just like sitting here now, enjoying this time with you, rather than an inner critic showing up or something showing up about how am I going to answer the next question. And for me, sometimes I put my feet on the ground, just root my feet in the ground and be grounded in the here and now. And something interesting I heard, I'll just share this before we move on. Sometimes I'm not on social media a lot, but sometimes I like to scroll through TikTok because there's some great healers and coaches and things on there. And there was a guy on there, and he was saying, just breathe. And he said, if you're feeling sad, it might be that you're in the past. If you're feeling anxious, you might be spending too much time in the future. And if you're feeling peace, it means that you're here right now.
That's
curious
lovely.
about that.
That's lovely.
What do you think?
Something that's stuck with me is this idea of the present also being the reward from flow study, where part of the idea of being in flow is where you're engaged in something, and the engagement is the reward of the activity itself. And I've thought a lot about that. Like this conversation is the reward. Like, it's not like there's something else out there that we have to find, but it's here right now. That helps. Also thinking about always moving to gratitude, even when it feels hard, and then also letting whatever negative emotion is just being with, rather than trying to change. I feel like there are a lot of tools we have as coaches. Then we have the support of others too, in coaching sessions. I'm curious. I want to know what. I have more. But I feel like from there, to answer this question, I would just have coaching questions. Lots of coaching questions. And I feel like a lot of coaches go, okay, a question that we often get is, does coaching, and as a coach, can we ask questions about the past? Or how does a coach ask questions about the past? And this is where I feel like getting really geeky in grammar has helped my thinking on this. So if I could go geeky for 3 minutes and just go for it, that's what's coming up for me. Okay. So so a verb has a couple characteristics. The one that most people know about is tense, like past, present, future. Verbs also have an aspect, which is completed, simple, or progressive. So completed means it is done. Like there's no, and this is where English uses auxiliary verbs like have and had. I had done this thing in the distant past. So it's completed past, like had walked, There is also an idea of completed present. So this is, I have walked. And it means like I have walked, like I have just now from the past stopped walking, but I'm in the present. I'm in the present moment, but I've completed the action of walking. So it feels like it should be past, but the tense is actually present. And this is what, when you're coaching, it's like that. Like, what about the walking in the past? Like, imagine it's done here, like this. And a lot of times, this, to me, it feels best if it's around story. Like, so what's the story that you were telling in the past? What if that story were complete? What's the completed story? And that's the impact it needs to have on the present tense. So it's useful to start to compartmentalize in your mind, okay, so how am I using this completed past event in the completed present? And then you can think, okay, so now I'm moving it more into progressive. Like, so I am walking. What does walking look like now with this idea of this completed past? So that's how coaches, like, that's the mental theoretical framework. How it shows up in a coaching question, or how this shows up in coaching practice, is something around, okay, so like, what's the learning that you can derive from the past that makes an impact on the present? Or what aspects of this from the past you want to take into your present? And then if you, let's say you take this into your present, what's that future direction? How do you move that into the basically future tense? And then this, to go even further, we play with this a lot in coaching, this temporal perspective changing, where you're thinking of, okay, so what's the future completed? I will have walked, right? So that's future self. That's, okay, so 10 years from now, what does your future self want to say about your present self dealing with your past self? Like, you can go in all these different places with curiosity, and the insights you'll gain from this are more valuable than the actual solving of it in the first place, usually. That's not saying like, yeah, we should have all of these traumas and hurts and pasts and get stuckness. I get there too. But there's value in that too. And you can get there in coaching sessions. But that kind of tense work and aspect work has helped me conceptualize, okay, this is how we can use coaching to really get curious about the past's impact on the present moment. Oh, I'm done. That's it.
That's beautiful, John. I had to write it down. I have, I am, I will have. I just think that's, think about the kind of questions I'm going to ask. Thanks, John.
It matters because it helps you address things that need to be addressed without trying to get stuck in past stuff, because it does feel like you can get stuck there, for sure, as a coach even, and it gets frustrating for you as a coach, and then the client feels like, well, what are we doing? And yeah, it helps.
Thank you. Okay, so next question then, and I think you can help us answer this because you've got this new fancy camera. I can see you zooming in and out. Looks fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm still learning it. I was playing with it all day yesterday for 2 hours. Like this is my life.
Show.
This is my life. Yeah.
Following John.
I have a camera person who is excellent. Going over here now. It allows me to move in my space without feeling like I have.
It's excellent. So
it's really fun.